everybody, and welcome back to 31 Days of Indie Horror. I'm your host, Jonathan Moody, and I've got an awesome show. We've got two guests who've both been on the show before. Please let me introduce first Jackey Hall. How are you doing, Jackey?
Good. How are you, Moody?
Doing good. And next we got Mark D. Valenti. How are you doing, Mark?
I am doing fantastic as always, Jonathan.
Yes. So I had us watch a 2010 film called Vampegeddon, and it was a rough movie. Not gonna lie. Now Mark saw it separately, but me and Jackey did watch it together right before this thing, and she actually pointed out some things I didn't even notice at first. So it was bad things about the things. But let's first kind of get into the I guess quote unquote plot of the movie. So Mark, how would you sum up the plot of this movie?
I would say excessive use of nudity and hard rock music, to say the least, if you're going to look for themes. But yeah, I mean, first of all, I'm jealous you all had a chance to watch it together and point out those things together. You know what I mean? So it makes sense. So, and you saw it more recently than I did. So obviously it sort of follows around the history of our Giovanni, I believe, is the vampire hunter, and sort of going back 100 plus years ago, and sort of him trying to track down this main vampire. And then obviously it's in the present day, and then there's sort of these themes and reincarnation as well, without giving too many spoilers away in this situation. So just about the traditional vampire versus vampire hunter through the ages sort of story.
Exactly.
Yeah, please don't spoil too much.
Actually, in fact, right. I hope you do spoil, because
that's
please.
The end.
Yeah,
that's pretty much it.
That's it.
I mean, that's pretty much it. Then they live happily ever after, I guess, and and that guy becomes a lesbian. At the end of the movie. So
it's pretty standard stuff, right?
Right. What you see in every vampire movie, right?
Right.
Jackie's never acted in a vampire movie, and I can see why now.
I've acted in much worse.
Really? I don't know. This is pretty bad. This might tie up there with some of the stuff that you've acted in.
Thanks, Jonathan.
Wow, I didn't even mean to knock you down.
I'm feeling the
love. But we always joke about that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Crap.
Though, I mean, it's a low budget film. It's really hard to kind of knock movies like this, because obviously they did try something,
Yeah.
But I went and looked into some of the stuff. Apparently something was wrong with the audio in the regular from the regular like microphones and everything. So everything was dubbed, and you can sort of tell, when you watch it, like people are very speaking louder than they normally would be, or whatever.
It's ADR.
All of it is ADR. Yep.
Yeah, the whole thing, you can tell.
Yeah. And so it's just terrible, because if you leave it on there where it is not ADR'd, it probably would have sounded a lot better, or whatever.
Maybe they had bad sound equipment or something.
Maybe, but like even then, like I don't know, when you ADR stuff, it just to me it just takes away from it, from the actual.
I ADR'd like all of Cyborg Conquest.
Did you?
Yeah.
Well, see, I don't know. Maybe it's the idea of the director, because Lee Scott did a good job. I didn't even notice.
Yeah, we all did like a crap load of ADR for that movie.
Well, there you go. I don't know.
Couldn't even tell. So there you go.
Yeah, but you could tell in this movie, and that was the problem.
Did you say that they were? You saw that they were trying to do something?
They were trying to make a movie. I mean,
that's like saying you were trying to have a good relationship after you've seen multiple good ones work out, and you still failed.
Right. I guess
there's a lot of really good movies.
Because this is but this is like a failed relationship, I guess. That's
Yeah,
what do you
that's
think, Mark?
That's a fair way to look at it, I guess. Yeah, you know what? I will say this, Jonathan. This wasn't the worst movie you ever had me watch. So, that'll Chris go say.
See, I thought the same. Jonathan knocking on it pretty hard, but I was like, visually, at least I could watch it.
That's right. It was, yeah. But that being said, I think there was just a couple minor things that were like, oh, well, that was actually pretty cool. I mean, obviously, there was a couple of Sam Raimi-esque type of scenes there where the steak was being thrown and they kind of showed the point of view from the steak flying. I actually thought some of the dialects were surprisingly okay. Like the one girl who was it wasn't even Van Helsing, Giovanni reincarnated. I thought her dialect was surprisingly good, and maybe because the rest of the movie sound was bad. I also like. I don't know. I kind of knocked the music, but I actually liked the way the music was used. And there's some minor random things that were. It was almost like it wasn't horrible. I mean, yeah, things like we talked about, like sound and some other things were horrible. But there's a couple of very quirky moments in there that I thought like, oh, well, that was kind of interesting. Just random things, like when the one vampire staked, the other one goes over and tries to pull the stake out of his chest. And I've never actually seen that before. Like he was really trying to do it. Just like little actions, which I thought made it like slightly intriguing, but obviously not enough to say, hey, go out and watch this film.
It did look like some of the vampires had like, I was making fun saying that hold on, sorry. I had an incoming phone call. It looked like they, had taken some kind of class to get their vampire movements down for like 2 or 3 days. Right. They were trying to it made it funnier for me but not because the acting was bad. It's just how the movie was shot. It didn't come off as serious.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
And I agree. Kind of the guess the original vampire hunter is Longshank. Was that his name?
Oh, that's
or whatever.
Right.
Yeah,
that's the name of my penis.
Yeah, that's what she said to me, and I go,
Longshank.
Okay. I was like, that sounds fantastic. But yeah, that would have been a great line in the movie, but unfortunately,
Oh, that's right. Longshank was and Giovanni was the vampire.
Giovanni was the vampire,
yes.
And
yeah, that's right.
Well, I don't know how you guys got that confused. It was so easy to follow.
I know. I saw it last week, and I feel like most of it's erased from my mind because I needed to save memory space. So
it's called blackout. Like
yeah,
your mind blacks out trauma or unnecessary.
That's exactly right. Oh my gosh, I feel so drained now.
That's right. Aren't you Am I allowed to say it, Jonathan?
Well, yeah. I mean, he talks about what your behaviorologist or something like you.
Behaviorist, yeah, right. So I study human behavior and the mind, and train others on how to do the same and realize things about themselves.
I would love to link up with you to have other conversations about that.
Sure.
Outside of this, which would probably be way more interesting than what this podcast is going to end up being. But
this is fair.
Because
hey, listen, I have a show. Not that I want to advertise the show on here, but there's not that Jonathan and I are in competition with our shows. We're entirely different shows.
No, but he's also on our. network.
Yeah. I'm syndicated on your thing. So there you go.
There you go. I'm okay with you taking.
All right. Well, Jonathan will link us up after.
Yeah, we'll have to touch base.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm in college to graduate under psychology to be a therapist. I study a lot of mind stuff as well.
Well, there you go. Then we'll have to connect.
So, yep. This is another reason why I wanted to just. I guess I picked kind of the wrong movie. This is not a very psychological horror film or anything.
No, the only thing it did to my psyche was like, how am I going to stay awake? With this film?
Well, it's not as bad as the last movie we watched.
I actually did fall asleep on you.
Oh, jeez.
We were on the phone on that one, and all of a sudden I don't hear Jackey talking at all. Just like,
which is not heard of. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Whatever.
I'm not gonna lie. That might have been a little bit of Xanax-induced coma.
It happens. It happens. Wow. So we're gonna talk some more about Vampegeddon. The movie that we watched had some I don't know, all all the characters were, I guess they were supposed to be in their teens, but they looked very much
40-ish.
40-ish.
Oh
Like
my gosh.
One's definitely a porn actress. You like to call everyone that acts that does porn a porn star, but that's like saying
Too
that
much credit.
like people that do these crappy movies are real actresses and
like
they're
movie
not.
stars, yeah.
Yeah.
calling a scream queen a
That would be like calling me a movie star. Nobody knows my name. That would be hilarious.
Ah.
They should.
Not. Unless
So-
everybody wants to end up in therapy afterwards, just stay away right now.
My goodness.
So
Much more
I'm
interesting
only
than a
making
movie.
these jokes because of Jonathan.
see, she makes these jokes, but like I feel like sometimes there's an underlying thing. I'm guessing if you guys link up, there might be a discussion there. It's like
Jonathan, you lived with me. It's a
I know.
circus, okay?
it is. But yeah. So to go back, so basically these characters are all supposed to be young than they are. And but there's like one scene where two of the people are talking outside what I thought was supposed to be their school, right? Like they're all like hanging out talking. And I'm just like thinking, where are they in college? Are they supposed to be in high school? What is going on here?
The
If it's high
review
school, that's
that me
ridiculous.
said it was high school,
Oh.
but the ones that like really picked it apart, they said it was high school.
They said
I
it was high
couldn't-
school, but I would disagree with them on that because there was one part where you said, I'm gonna have to tell somebody I missed my something lit class, why I'm late for my something lit class or whatever.
Mhm.
And I was like thinking, oh, so that must mean like, I guess could that be high school? I don't know.
You have to be on time for different classes in high school. Didn't you go?
Yeah, but I did go. But apparently I didn't do very well.
Well, I guess the real question is how much do we want to delve into the logic of all these things that are said in this movie that may or may not even make any sort of sense? I mean,
The
Right.
third grade was hard all 4 times, okay?
Oh, jeez. Well, how about this? Obviously this is a comment, the ads, right? This is on YouTube. We watched it and there was ads every like 6 minutes, it seemed like.
We watched it on Tubies.
Well, yeah, I've actually never seen so many ads in one program before.
Yeah,
ever.
we
Weird.
had a pretty good amount of ads too, but I think what it might also be is the movie's only an hour and 15 minutes.
Mhm.
So like it might feel longer,
Maybe.
because it's shorter of a movie. So
Right.
like you're gonna get as many ads as you would get in a normal length film kind of thing on
good
those
point.
things. So I think that might be it because it did feel, you're right. Absolutely. It felt like, because at one point we would have to stop it, to
Mhm.
make sure that we're on the same page. And at some points we still had the same times like that they would, have the commercials. So it was interesting. How many ads did you have though? Just one ad or each time or what?
I feel like there was at least one ad each time. There's just one ad each time, but it was, and I looked at it like every 6 minutes it came on. And that-
Jesus. Yeah,
and
we
it
watched it on
costs-
Tubi.
okay.
Did I send you the link to the YouTube or the Tubi?
I think the YouTube one. So I thought maybe that was just a way to torture me even more, Jonathan. I don't know. So
Whoops. Apparently I did that. I did not.
No, it's all right.
That
It's
was
all right.
not the point, but I did do that, I
no,
guess.
no, I'm just kidding. It was fine.
You got caught. Jonathan's a terrible person.
Yeah. It's not as bad as when John Ward and I watched Lamageddon in Las Vegas, and our internet connection sucked so bad that not only was the doing the commercials was too long, just getting to everything was just a pain in the ass. So it happens. It's kind of the sucky part of streaming.
Sure.
Can we go
yeah,
back to
right.
talking about this amazing movie again, please?
What would you like to talk about, Jackey, in this amazing movie?
Well, I mean, that one girl, there's no way she did porn. There's no way they're all in their 40s. The writing was so good. I understood everything that happened.
I feel like
Actually, I do have to say the beginning of it when they were shooting in whatever. I would like to know where that little like Western town is that they were like shooting in. That actually looked kind of cool. And then they just went to shit now, present time.
Yeah, it was a little bit. It felt better, higher quality in that first 10-minute opening scene than it did later. When it went into like the real world. What it is now.
They simply just gave up towards the end. I mean, people were being stabbed and they weren't even using blood.
Mm.
Good point.
You didn't notice that?
Oh no, I noticed that. Did you, Mark?
Yeah, I mean, especially because they had used more gore earlier on. So you're right. It didn't seem to be. I think I was also distracted by Igor because I thought he was described as like a familiar, but yet he seemed to be a vampire anyway. So it kind of just, I was like, I don't understand. I thought the familiar, if I learned anything from the Lost Boys, it was, familiars, whether they're animals or people, should be animals or people, not vampires themselves. So I was a little bit confused by that part of it. I mean, that and like 20 other things in the first 5 minutes.
I do have to say, I understand nothing about vampires, so I really can't comment.
Well, do you remember the scene? There was a scene where the two people were in the van, and I guess the guy basically got all rapey all of a sudden out of nowhere. And then the girl
not a movie without a rape.
I know. And then the girl says, "Get out, let me get out." And she gets out of the car, and Jackey looks over and goes, Is there supposed to be somebody in the back seat there? Oh, and I was like, I don't think so.
Oh, no.
And no, the director's like arm. It's like,
there was someone, director. Well, we don't know for sure, but
we don't know if it was the director or the camera guy, but I'm pretty sure it'd be the director because the camera guy would be the one outside.
No way someone could have missed that while shooting.
You would have thought the DP would have been like, "Hey, you're in the shot. We can see
like
you.
Your whole arm.
Your whole arm is in the shot. Get down."
Yeah, but they also did the shot of that car when they're leaving before they both figure out that they're both lesbian vampires. And that's so cool.
Oh yeah, they have a different.
It was a whole different car when they were going to get into it. It had a back seat. Cut to they're in this chunky El Camino that I don't know where it came from. And they're holding hands because they're going to have so much lesbian fun together.
Yeah.
And she didn't even know what a lesbian was.
Did they not know back then? Like, was that not a term that they were aware of?
They're trying to get across, right?
Right.
Remember? Because that guy was like, "And you're a lesbian." You remember that?
I do remember that. That was funny. So yeah, you're right, because there was some really weird stuff with the lesbian stuff, but also with the character, the Longshank character, when he was possessing what's her name? I forgot oh my god. I'm going to go crazy. If I have
tits, the one that showed her tits for the remainder of the movie.
No, the other one.
The no tits. The only one with no tits.
Pretty much. Liz, that was her character name. So when I
only call her no tits because they were average size, and the other ones were the size of my head.
Yep.
Right. Comparatively, I get you. Makes sense. Yeah. Listen, that's how we remember their names, I guess. Apparently.
No.
Big tit, small tit, normal tit, tit.
No, exactly. And there was a ton of so the writer of it, David Hayes, he plays. So there's that scene with the garage sale. And while we're watching it, I looked over at Jackey and I go, "That's got to be the director," because this just seems like a scene that the director would throw himself in. It was the writer. I was like, okay, that makes total sense, especially with at the end, the lesbian vampire chicks, start, biting him and everything, which made absolutely no sense because they didn't actually bring the vampires to life by then.
That's why these people make these movies full, so that they can actually get some girl action, because outside of being like, "Oh, I make movies," they don't get anything. Or if they do, it's not something to brag about.
True. So they're just like,
damn,
it's a great theory.
I was never in the film industry. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Especially out in Hollywood.
I've never met anybody somewhat rapey at all in the film industry.
So yeah, so to go back, there was that stuff with the Liz character saying stuff that as Longshank that was very out of place for that time period of what that character would have been in, and then yet she didn't know what a lesbian was. So it just, to me, a lot of that just made no. I mean, I guess if you want to make sense of this movie, you're
Right.
barking up the wrong tree.
Right, exactly.
Jonathan, anything makes sense when you're high.
That's true. Speaking of high, what did you guys think of the two boneheads that were in the movie? Or just two
They were
random
so
guys?
pointless. The hillbillies.
Yeah.
I didn't know if they were gonna. Nothing ended up happening with them, right? I don't remember.
They got killed, right? Didn't they? Because weren't they the ones with the? Didn't they?
Yeah, I think they got killed at one point, but it was such like a.
Oh, because he got decapitated. That's the scene I did like, where he punches a vampire in the face, and the vampire winds up and just decapitates him directly. You could say as a throwback to Friday the 13th Part 7, but or 8.
8, yeah, where
yes,
the guy
yes.
just like punches
Right,
his head off.
But I was surprised. I wasn't expecting that, and I thought that was I thought that was one of those bonehead guys that was killed there.
Well, at the end of the movie, they were all just punching each other in the face.
Yes, they were.
Yes, they were. They're just like,
wake up, boof.
That's right.
And then like, okay, so yeah, she punches the girl in the face. Then the girl punches her again to wake her up. And I'm just like, so this is how this director gets people to wake up? Is that what is that what he's trying to say, or the writer is trying to say? I just gotta punch everybody, wake them up. You know what? I mean, people would wake up a lot quicker or go back to sleep. Either way.
I felt like this entire movie, nobody even tried. Like the acting was just so bland. Everything was so bland. Even the fighting scenes, you could tell they were just so slow. They had all these moves. Had they sped it up a little bit, it might have looked better. Honestly, it wasn't 100% terrible, but it needed a little make it go faster.
It did.
Yeah,
it would have been 40 minutes long or something.
It made me feel like whenever I have a dream that I'm punching someone and you can never punch them, that's kind of what I felt like watching this. Where
do you often have those dreams, Jackey, where you feel like you want to punch people?
I don't think this is the show for us to talk about that on.
You'll talk on his show about that.
Yes.
My parole officer might be listening.
Yeah, so I'll make sure I keep a note, so whenever you're on my show, I'll say, Jackey, tell me about why you want to punch everybody all the time. So
I'm trying to figure out myself.
That is hilarious.
So the other question I have about this Giovanni, right, the vampire, now that I have the characters right, was he supposed to be like a jokester or something? Occasionally he'd try to throw stuff in there. He made that last crack about to the reincarnated Longshank. He said, you don't have the wood now.
Oh, God. That part made us roll our eyes.
I'm not surprised. It was definitely a cringeworthy, but
yeah.
But it just seemed so out of character for him to even say anything like that. And I wasn't sure what this person was trying to be.
No, because half the movie, he's just this guy who's just going, rah,
right.
Like the whole time. Yeah. Like the whole time. And then he's all of a sudden out of nowhere, he's making jokes and he's acting like it. Yeah. Like his character kind of flip-flopped through whatever. And I don't know if that was the writing or maybe the direction or even the actor himself trying, hey, everybody else got a joke in there or something. Let me get a stab at this. Pun intended. Yeah, it was just, by the way, I really hate when and I think they did it before, but they say no pun intended. And it was obviously intended, even in the writing of it or whatever. So I'm like, just change it to pun intended. That's even funnier sometimes, I
think that's more of an in-person type of joke. Doesn't really go over so well on film.
That's right.
Why? How does he know this vodka smells like pine trees? Jonathan.
Well, I was like, what do pine trees taste like? I mean,
It's Tanqueray gin. It smells like a. I've heard so many people
smells,
say the
yes.
exact same.
Taste is different. I don't fucking taste trees.
You never ate a pine tree.
I never ate a pine tree in my life. I'm sorry.
What's wrong with you? You're not normal.
Apparently not.
Hot dang.
Apparently not. I am not normal, but it's okay.
And
It's okay.
not only a pine tree, but it was a car air freshener scented pine tree. So the fact you have any one of those is even more weird.
Some of the dialogue was just strange, and I don't know why. Maybe I chalk it up to just like, you know what I mean. It was just terrible. I guess I don't know.
You guys hear that?
What?
What?
I'm sorry. There's like a super loud banging noise over here on my end, and I normally don't even. I hear no noises ever out of my apartment complex, so I don't know what's going on. Sorry.
It's Giovanni. He's coming after you right now. You
Right.
resurrected him. Okay,
It's gonna get boring.
let's talk about that real quick. The two resurrection scenes. They did the first one, and it apparently didn't work or whatever. And she got all mad and like angry, like, oh, Hootie,
She was
like,
crying.
she was crying about that, like, oh my god, why can't vampires just be real and
Oh.
blah 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 and all whiny and shit. Then she goes and does the other one, and I guess it works because she has that book now. Which, okay, what book was she using the last time that she gonna like? What was she expecting?
Not one from a garage sale
Right.
A
that
garage
she
randomly found, and like, by the way, it didn't look like she could go any further. So literally, she went to somebody's garage, and all of a sudden and then the guy stopped her. I was like, it does not look like she could like actually have gone anywhere else. Like, it was the strangest scene. But
No, yeah. My time working in the independent film industry has been pretty interesting with some directors going, you just start walking up here. They'll figure it out.
That's true. That's true. But we can't forget the cul-de-sac.
Dude, that drove me bonkers.
Hey,
and still does.
to me it looks good. So
Okay. Well, that movie all the way around is way better than 10 seconds of this film we're talking about. So let's not argue about the cul-de-sac.
okay.
That'll just make us go round and round all day long.
Yes. Thank you, Jackey.
That fits with this discussion, so that was good. So I will say the one last comment that I have, by the way, was Giovanni's, and again, I shouldn't even be questioning the dialogue, when he comments on the reincarnated Longshank about being sexually ambiguous twice. Now he actually said it twice. Yeah, he actually says.
I don't even know what that means.
Yeah, right. He said you were always, after he sees him as a woman, saying you were always sexually ambiguous or something like that, right? Again, this was last week when I saw this. So he said, but he said it twice toward the end, and it was almost like it was the same. Maybe given that it was dubbed, maybe they just replayed the same exact lines, but it was the same. But it was just stuck out to me. One, the first time he said it, and then two, not 5 minutes later, he said it again to him.
Or her. Yeah,
right,
her,
exactly.
right. Which was weird. I mean, I don't know what this movie was trying to get across.
Right.
with the
I think
whole.
they were trying to make a movie.
I know, I get that, but I think there was a little bit of something that they were trying to do. Something. I'm gonna give it more credit than
1 or
what
2
you.
days out of filming, they tried.
They tried.
Today we're gonna try, guys.
and
Film
there
it today.
but I don't know what. I can't figure out. Because like at the end of the movie, she's a lesbian, which she's a guy. The sexually ambiguous thing, I think, would talk about how the guy liked, was sort of gay, maybe, right? But he was like, no, I'm not homosexual.
That's right.
Louis, is he the noise you heard earlier?
No, there's literally, I guess somebody moved in or someone next door is like trying to hang something up on the wall. It's definitely a hammer,
All right.
but he is snoring now, so loud.
Yep. Yep. So anyway, I don't know what it was trying to do with the whole lesbian thing at the end. You know, if it was trying to say something about this character or whatever and have some kind of point. I don't know. It just
They also kind of made it to where like the way that they were saying it was like being like lesbian is like this like horrible bad thing too, which is like I guess it was made in 2010 though, right?
yeah.
Right.
And on top of that, it was interesting because the what is it, the character well, I mean not interesting, but it was sort of funny. We laughed at it because it was so bad. But like when she's in the car with her and she's like, "So you like girls? I like girls." And then she's like, "What are you trying to get?" Oh. And I was like, that like I don't know. Like I just don't see that long shank guy being into that girl, just because she's a girl, like there's more than just that,
He doesn't know. He's not from that time.
Right.
I don't.
He's never seen tits like that before.
It's true.
Jeez.
Really not.
Why have we not brought up the bedazzled things that were the size of a tire on the side of the porn girl's head that you couldn't see her face because you remember the
the tires on her head.
Yeah. Oh.
Those were so distracting.
Yeah. Well, I was like, it was looking like the chick was going through a car wash, like, it was so bad. And she could take it off at times. And then she would put it on, then she would take it off. And I was just like, leave it the fuck off, please. Like
they literally had to have been like so heavy.
Because you were like even saying, Jackey, when you first saw it, you were like, I don't know if this is like a I don't know why these movies have to have these like weird fucking characters.
They do. They always have like a goth character and then some girl with random shit going on with their hair and makeup that makes no sense. And there's no storyline behind it or character build up for you to get to know them. And they just are what they are. And honestly, I've never met anyone that looks like that other than maybe at a film fest for low budget stuff.
Right.
Like people, I don't know. People don't dress like that.
Mm-mm.
Right. I guess we could always look on the IMDb to see if she's listed as a costume designer somewhere. Maybe it's her own brand that she was trying to put out there in some weird quirky way.
She's listed on IMDb as something cocksucker.
No, her name was Sugar Cox. That was her name.
I had it right.
Almost exactly right.
Yes. I had it right.
It was close enough. I guess. I don't know.
I had the first letters right.
That's good. Yes.
That is an interesting idea of like, so they had a costume maker. I didn't know that was what you called it, but apparently on IMDb, there's a listing of costume maker. That was Ruth Allerton. Leanna Hubbard was the wardrobe department head.
I mean, she cleared it.
And the wardrobe assistant was Nathan Stripes. He's probably the guy just assisting, handing them the stuff and touching it. Like what these movies baffle me when they have like a crew, because I'm like, it's whoa. I think we lost Mark.
Bye, Mark.
Oh, there we go. Whoa, we lost you for a second.
Yep. Oh, sorry, guys. I don't know what happened.
He got sleepy. He went night-night.
Yes, I was so enthralled with the conversation we were having about the costume creator or whatever. So
costume maker, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm like, my internet's gone. Oops, I missed out on it now.
I've literally had unnecessary people on set before. Like, clearly, I'm shooting a low budget movie. I don't need an assistant to come up and hold my things in between takes. And people get offended because I'm like, it's not that I don't want the help. Like, I don't need it. Like, it's unnecessary. And they're like, yeah, but like they want this credit for whatever. And I'm like, nah, whatever. All right.
Are they getting paid for it, or are they just like?
Sometimes they're most of the times they're volunteers are trying to get credits for school or something, which I get. And so I'm not gonna say anything negative about that.
I heard the banging there. I heard that banging.
Which is weird because I didn't hear banging that time.
Okay.
Jonathan, you're used to hearing hammers at my house.
Yes. Well, that's another thing we'll have
That's
to get to.
an inside joke. No, we will not get into that ever. Oh, Jesus Christ.
That's all right. No, it's all right. I recognize that this conversation is peppered with inside jokes, and I also recognize that because the movie is so bad, we probably have run out of stuff to talk about the movie itself.
We did.
We did.
We were talking about a movie, and
it was a movie, I guess. Sort of. You could call it that. Anyway, let's actually get into the rating. Let's get into the rating part, which is we do the stinkometer, which is 1 to 10, 10 being stinky and 1 being pretty damn good. Or you could do a 5.5 or 6.5 or whatever if you feel like it needs something in between that. So I guess Jackey, what would you give it?
Okay, well, you and I rate movies differently because I'm more of a visual person. So if I can't even like visually watch it, then like I automatically rate it like as worst as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Secondly, other than camera work, I look for acting, which did not happen in this movie. I'm gonna go with like an 8.
An 8. Okay. Well, what about you, Mark?
Well, I would say that I was gonna give it a 7, and because I found just the quirky little things just surprising, and does it make a movie? Absolutely not. But I give it a 7 overall.
You give it a 7. All right. Mm-hmm. It's funny because you give it a 7, she gave it an 8. I'm gonna give it a 9, and I was originally gonna give it a 10, but I went lower. I went lower because this movie is terrible. It's pretty bad.
It is.
There's another dog. Yes, that's Zeke.
Close out the show, Zeke. He said, and that's all, folks.
So 9. 9 here. Was it 8 and 7, and that's actually not too bad. Could have been worse. It could have been all 10s, or all 9s.
Well, we could visually see it and hear it.
True, and it wasn't. It was pretty terrible acting. Yeah,
the acting was bad and it made no sense. But so are like 80% of indie movies like that. So
very true.
That's true. There's a lot of these movies where unfortunately that happens. So no, I totally get it.
People can't figure out how to write. They don't know how to do diagrams and tell stories. I don't know where I'm from.
Apparently neither did that chick, because all of a sudden she had that accent.
Right.
I know, right?
She was Longshank. So maybe you just
Some
became
days I
Longshank.
Some days I wake up with an accent. I don't know. It's weird.
I
feel like I'm from another time.
Thank you guys both for being on the show. I would ask you guys what you guys are up to, but this is going to be in October. So who knows what you guys are going to be up to then.
Oh my God.
You can predict, but I don't know. It's just, we're just for the record, we are shooting this in January of 2022, and this will be out on the second day of October of
I'm just trying to get through the first couple to like today of January 22.
You're gonna be like, I don't even remember. You're gonna be like, I don't even remember doing this.
You're gonna tag us on social media, and yeah, exactly. I'll be like,
I'm not gonna remember this at all. Jonathan's gonna have to do a rundown for me. You remember? And it'll be the dumbest stuff that my brain clicks with, like the car tires on the porn girl and vampires. And I probably, You tried to remind me of an ex-boyfriend I dated for 5 years the other day, and I couldn't remember who he was. So I don't think this movie's gonna go over so well.
Wow.
That's so true. I forgot about that.
It's like, who?
And you're like, oh yeah, okay,
You
never
were
mind.
like, Jackey, you dated him for like 5 years. I was like, huh? Don't worry,
Oh.
he was very rememberable.
All right. So thank you guys so much. This has been awesome. I really appreciate you guys taking the time out of your busy schedule to chat with me. Jackie's been a little bit more bored lately, so I've decided to torture her with these things. I think this isn't nearly as bad as the few that I showed you earlier, like Disaster War or
that midget shit that didn't have one fucking midget in it.
Yep, midget zombie takeover.
I'm still mad about that.
Oh.
I know.
There was no takeover and not one fucking zombie. It was a kid on its knees.
Yep, and no midget.
What?
Yep.
Really?
Yep. It's on Tubi. Look it up. Midget zombie takeover.
He's like, I can't wait.
I'm seriously going to search right after this. I'm not even kidding.
That sounds like a fun time. So thank you guys. You guys stick around for a second after, but everybody else, thank you guys for listening and checking us out, watching and seeing all the craziness. But
adios, amigos. Happy
Bye,
New Year.
guys. Bye-bye.
I mean, happy Halloween.
Yes.
all right. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.